and you're watching People in Perspective. My name is Olivia Kucharz, and here joining me today is Helen Kucharz to talk about her life. So, Helen, where are you originally from?
Originally, my parents grew up in Vietnam. They were transplants from China. They actually were in the midst of the war and decided they wanted a better life for their new family that they're going to start. So they ended up leaving and escaping. Their story that they told me was pretty intense. As they were leaving the country, they decided to, last minute take a fishing boat to, just escape. They didn't know where they were going. And the fishing boat held about 15 people, and there was a huge accident. There were many obstacles in their way, but they managed to escape the country. And while we were on the boat, I was in my mother's stomach, and she gave birth to me.
Well, that's honestly amazing. Like, just to hear about that. Do you think that being from a different country negatively or positively impacted your current life?
Well, after we were on the boat for a while, we ended up docking in the Philippines. We lived there for about 2 years of my infant life. Grew up there. I could have brought some pictures to show, but it's a third world country, and those pictures probably looked like the ones of kids in refugee camps in today's third world countries. They pretty much look similarly to what could have been my life over there, but we were rescued by 3 sisters in a sponsorship program from Oak Park, and they actually saved about 30 to 40 Asian families that were in refugee camps, which was pretty amazing.
So, would you say that the cultural and social differences are large between the Philippines and your old region as to America?
There are a lot of differences, culture-wise, food-wise, but everyone that came from a third world country, or even growing up today being poor or in poverty, they all have a dream, and I think that's what kind of is the string that holds us all together, that we all have a dream to search for something better for our lives. And I think that's what my parents' goals were, and I think being here in the U.S. really helped solidify that there is a better life if you manage to decide to change your life.
Do you think that that some of the culture from your childhood that your parents brought with you, you now carry on today into your current household?
Growing up, my parents worked a lot. They showed, that with hard work, there are very positive life changes that can be made. When we came to the U.S., we probably, my parents said that they had probably 3 pennies to their name. With that said, what they brought with them is not so much as tradition, but more so as just dream seeking for a better life. We did actually kind of keep the culture by distant relatives that did also come to the U.S., but since I guess everyone got busy and lived their own lives, it just happened that whatever culture that they brought back was kind of diminished over the years.
So you say that you had other family members that came to the U.S. with you,
Mm-hmm.
Did you all come together on the same boat, or did they come earlier or later than you?
So my parents had a really big family. They actually had 5 brothers and sisters in each family, so 5 siblings per family. Huge families. And my dad's family actually moved to Europe. They decided to go the Europe route instead of the US route. Growing up, I had the opportunity to travel to Europe and visit them many times, and that kind of brought a new kind of culture into my life.
And as far as your mom's side of the family goes, where do they live? Do they also live in Illinois, or?
They do. They live in Schaumburg, Palatine, Elgin, the northwest suburbs. We are pretty close. We do keep in touch. You know, my aunts and uncles are still around. There are a couple family members in California and Seattle and Colorado.
Do any of your other family members still live in Vietnam or the Philippines?
Yes, they do. It's more of the older generation. I don't keep in touch with them. My grandparents do, and you know what, maybe one day I will go back and visit and kind of dig into my original culture.
Do you think that your current line of work kind of enables you to be able to tie into your past culture or even your parents' line of work?
Well, growing up, I've heard stories that my grandparents used to own candy factories. Both my parents are chefs, and my dad's parents were business owners. My line of work right now has pretty much nothing to do with what they have done in their lifetime. So not really, but I do see people from all walks of life come into my job, and I do understand that everyone comes from somewhere and everyone has an amazing story.
And so your parents, have they ever gone back to either the Philippines or Vietnam to visit your old relatives?
My mom did take a trip several years ago, but we don't really keep in touch with the relatives down there, so only my grandparents.
Okay. And what about your original name?
So I was given a name, a Chinese name, and it means it means seagull, or from the sea, like a seabird. The funny story behind that is one of my other cousins was also born in a boat in another part of the ocean, and she actually got named the same thing, and we didn't find out probably until when we were in our teens. So that was
Well,
ironic.
Thank you for telling us about your story, and thank you for just coming in today. I really enjoyed interviewing you. Thank you for watching People in Perspective. I'm Olivia Kucharz.